the NOR risks.
There we go. Yep, and we will take a short break, and we'll be back with Dr. Padgett and more questions for Sarah Grall, manager of the Cardiac Rehabilitation and Wellness Program, and Nancy Graham, the registered dietitian there at the Rehabilitation and Wellness Program. So many more questions I've got, but we want your questions. 541-686-0590. When we come back, Dr. Rick Padgett, the medical director of the Oregon Heart and Vascular Institute at Sacred Heart at River Bend. So we are well underway with Doc Talk Tuesday, and we will be back with your questions and chit-chat with the doctor and Sarah and Nancy here on KUGN News Talk 590.
Jasper Mountain is a nationally accredited organization that's dedicated to helping troubled young children and their families. Jasper Mountain has been doing this important work since 1982. And here is longtime board member Debbie Eisert.
Hello, I'm Dr. Deborah Eisert. I'm a psychologist and I work with children in our community. I'm also a Jasper Mountain board member and have served 2 terms as board president. Our goal is to bring hope to children and support for their families by providing a variety of programs. I'm associated with Jasper Mountain because I believe that all children deserve to achieve their dreams. As a psychologist, I have seen firsthand that success in adulthood must begin in early childhood. It has only been through the tremendous support of our community that Jasper Mountain is still helping children almost 30 years after it began. On behalf of all the lives who have been enriched by Jasper Mountain, thank you for your support over the years. Together, we form an unbeatable team for the future of our community's children.
This entire piece of music is played with only 2 instruments, a right hand and a left hand. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life with hands-only CPR. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands-only CPR is recommended by the American Heart Association, and it's incredibly easy and effective. Find out more about this latest method of CPR at handsonlycpr.org. The power to help save a life is in your hands. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
What if your business banker took the time to really get to know your business? What if they asked the right questions in order to uncover the solutions you really need? At KeyBank, we do that. We believe the more we get to know you, the more successful you'll be at managing cash and safeguarding your business. We even address the financial needs of you and your employees. It's an integrated approach to help your business thrive. Call 877-KEY2BIZ, start a conversation, and unlock your possibilities. KeyBank is member FDIC. Credit products are subject to credit approval.
Checking your money with the Wall Street Journal on KUGN.
Rupert Murdoch and his son James apologizing to the British Parliament today over a hacking scandal that has engulfed News Corp, but the veteran media mogul denied he was ultimately responsible for the fiasco. His words. News Corp also owns the Wall Street Journal. Stocks are higher now, boosted by some positive earnings reports, with the Dow Jones Industrials now ahead 113 points at 12,498. The Nasdaq has tacked on almost 44 points. S&P 500 up 11. And I'm Frank Sapola at the Wall Street Journal.
Buying a good used car is all about having the right information and facts. And if it's a Honda certified used car, well, it just got a whole lot easier. Because now you can find out the history, mileage, and the price of the Honda you're looking for without leaving your home. Simply go online and search Google or Yahoo for Honda certified used cars. You'll see the current selection at the Honda dealers nearest you, along with the information you need to make the right choice. Honda certified used cars. It may be used, but it's still a Honda.
Final round time. If 2's company and 3's a crowd, what's 207?
A bar mitzvah?
Correct. Opportunity never knocks twice. Why not?
It's got sore knuckles?
Correct.
Yes.
How fast does Netflix let you watch TV episodes and movies?
Instantly, through your game console or other devices.
Correct! Watch unlimited TV episodes and movies for only $8 a month from Netflix. See terms of use.
Yeah.
Sir, put your shirt back on.
But I'm excited.
You're scaring the children.
It's Doc Talk.
On KUGN News Talk 590.
Okay, we'll get the buttons right here in a minute, Grant. It is Doc Talk Tuesday,
We'll
everybody.
see about that.
Yeah. Do you want to switch places here? Come on. These buttons are not cooperating with me. But who is cooperating with everyone, and thank goodness they are. Thank goodness they're in our life. We've got Sarah Grall, manager of the Cardiac Rehabilitation and Wellness Program. Nancy Graham, registered dietitian with the Rehabilitation and Wellness Program. We've got Dr. Rick Padgett. He's a medical director at the Oregon Heart and Vascular Institute, and so he joins. We are joining their family, kind of. Don't you feel like that, Grant? We really are. All right. So, good morning, Dr. Padgett.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Well, we're glad to have you. We've been chatting with Sarah and Nancy about a couple of things, but we wanted to chit-chat with you a little bit about kind of the signs that you're having a heart attack, I guess, is top of mind with this subject here. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. One of the problems with having a heart attack is that it can be different in everybody. We've all heard of the classic, I have an elephant sitting on my chest, or that feeling of pressure on your chest. I think we all know that sometimes it can go down into your arm. The pain can go down into your arm. There are other signs that are associated with it, such as sweating or shortness of breath. But the important part to remember is that not everybody gets these sort of classic signs. Up to probably 25% of men and up to 50% of women will get unusual, or what we call atypical, or different signs. And it can be as sort of nonspecific as a dramatic increase in fatigue, a feeling of unwell, not sleeping well, the shortness of breath, doing activities that you used to be able to do without difficulty. And so if any of these things, this is when you should chat with your primary care provider. But if these come on suddenly, this is when you call 911.
Now, are the symptoms different between men and women?
Well, they are. The men tend to get the more classic elephant sitting on my chest. But even men, 25% will get something that is not that, the crushing chest pain going down my arm that you see in the movies. You'll get sort of neck pain or jaw pain with exertion, or accompanied with just maybe sweating and shortness of breath. So it can be difficult, and up to a quarter of people will have no symptoms at all. They'll come in with what we call silent heart attacks. And these are heart attacks that occur sometime in the past and were probably written off as, I had a bad case of the flu, or it was that tamale I ate, caused all this heartburn. And it's hard to tell, and this is why having a regular primary care physician who can follow you over the years is so important.
So you talked about, fatigue and maybe not resting very well at night. How long can those symptoms go on before you really should just say, you know what, I just, maybe you just had your physical 2-3 months ago, and all of a sudden you're having fatigue, and some of the symptoms that you've just talked about are kind of opening up somebody's eyes and mind. How long do you let that go on before you check into it?
Well, I think that if it lasts, what we say for pains or that sort of thing, if it lasts for more than 5 minutes, then that's when you should start paying attention. We'll all get sort of a catch here and there, a little sharp pain that maybe lasts for a second or two. But pain that lasts for 5 minutes, or discomforts that last for 5 minutes, then that's when you should start looking into that. If there's any question at all, if you think you're having a heart attack, though, 911, we have a wonderful emergency medical system here in the community, and this is what the system was designed for. So if you're having those symptoms that you think may or may not be a heart attack, that's when you activate the EMS system.
Now, years ago when I was in college, I had a family member come to visit me, and they had a heart attack when they were visiting me, and I tried calling 911, and I couldn't get through. So what are some suggestions on things you can do if someone you're with is having a heart attack to help keep them alive and keep them with you until you can get them to the hospital?
Sure. Well, one of the important things, especially if they're standing or even sitting precariously in a chair, is to lie them down on the floor. If they're feeling faint at all, you want them down on the floor, so if they were to pass out, that they wouldn't injure themselves. Keep trying the EMS. That is almost always better than putting them in your car and trying to rush them to the hospital. It has, the EMS system is, you have trained professionals that can come out, and they can actually get the ball rolling even before anything else starts happening. So lay them down flat. If they feel like they're going to pass out, you can raise their legs up a little bit, and then watch them very carefully. If they do pass out, this is the actual time where, having a little bit of training, a little bit of CPR training would be very helpful. You may or may not have heard, we've recently gone to compression-only CPR, so that the mouth-to-mouth portion wasn't found to be as effective as we had once thought it was. However, the compression, the chest compression, has been shown to be dramatically effective for people, and having just a little bit of training can really make the difference.
Speaking of training, do you do training there at Sacred Heart at Riverbend for, say, family members that have had family members or friends that have had a heart attack, or maybe those that are possibly have a lot of the symptoms that may soon have a heart attack? What do you suggest about training, and do you have it at Sacred Heart?
We do periodic training. There's a CPR Anytime program that the American Heart Association sponsors, and some kits are involved that families can practice with and take home, and those are offered periodically. The dates and times would be listed on our website, which is ohvi.org. There's many good training programs in the community. Red Cross offers one, and there are some private businesses that also do CPR training, and any of it is good. Any resource, even internet-based, like Dr. Padgett was saying, it's so easy now and so focused on just the compressions that anyone can do it, and that activity truly can be life-saving when you're either waiting for EMS or, find yourself in that situation where you do need to act.
Is it on an individual basis also, Dr. Padgett, that if somebody has had a heart attack, how much how successful are we in getting them to the hospital and saving their life?
Well, that's a very hard question to answer.
Sure.
If it's witnessed, we call it a witnessed arrest. If somebody sort of sees you collapse, then it's much better than if it's an unwitnessed arrest where can get help, because the key to all of this is getting help as fast as possible.
Okay, so Dr. Padgett, we've got a listener that actually has a question. Do you mind taking a question on the air?
Not at all.
Excellent. Paul, good morning. You're talking with Dr. Padgett, and as well, Sarah Grall and Nancy Graham are in studio with us as well, so take it away.
I just had a question. My daughter is 30 years old. She just turned 30, and she's in really good condition and shape, physically works out and everything. And she just had a mini stroke last weekend, or on the 5th, where it was a blood clot that went to her brain where she was blind for a couple hours. Is this a lead-up to something major that's going to happen, or
Well, what? So what's that's called is a TIA, or mini stroke, a transient ischemic attack. By definition, a TIA means that it gets all better. So you have all the symptoms of the stroke, but then the body is able to handle that small clot, dissolve it, and all the symptoms resolve. After someone, especially somebody in their 30s, has something like this, there's usually an extensive workup to sort of find out why that happened. And now we don't always find out exactly why, but there are clotting disorders that we look for. There's some medications that can enhance our risk for a clot, and then there's some structural abnormalities. You can have a small hole in your heart or something like that as well. And so there's a collection of things that are done to look up why that individual has had that. And then it would depend on what that showed, where you go from that. Sometimes it's as simple as taking an aspirin to reduce some small clotting. Sometimes we need more powerful anticoagulants or blood thinners. And sometimes we need some other procedures.
Does that answer your question, Paula?
It does.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening and thanks for calling in. 541-686-0590. If you've got any questions for Dr. Rick Padgett, Medical Director at Oregon Heart and Vascular Institute, Sarah Grall, who is the manager of the Cardiac Rehabilitation and Wellness Program over there, and also Nancy Graham, registered dietitian. You know, I was kind of talking with Nancy and Sarah, excuse me, before you called in, Rick, and talking about the diet. How important is the diet when it comes to preventing a heart attack? And you know, I don't think anybody. I don't. It seems like nobody is safe from a heart attack. You can. I've known people that have been healthy. They work out, they eat right, and it happens. So I guess everything we can do to prevent that. How important is the diet?
Well, I tell most of my patients it's sort of a three-legged stool to treat these things. You have, diet on one leg, you have exercise, and you have medication. If you remove any one of those, the stool is not going to be stable. I tell some of my patients you can out-eat almost any of the medicines that we give you. And so it's an integral part. I think it plays a particular part in prevention, preventing that first heart attack. So eating healthily, regular exercise, and then being aware of your own genetic risk. You know, if your mother, father, sister, brother have had a heart attack, all play into that.
Okay, so on that note, Nancy, what would you say when it comes to diet? I guess fruits, vegetables, grains. Do we have to eat the the nuggets and berries to prevent a heart attack?
It can be way more fun than just nuggets and berries.
Okay.
But truly, we're finding consistent research shows that fruits and vegetables are high on the mark as far as being healthy, not only for your heart, but in relation to other chronic diseases like diabetes. And diabetes is a risk factor for heart disease as well. The plant-based diet is the one that keeps coming forward over and over again, and it is difficult. It's not too sexy to say eat your fruits and vegetables.
Right, right.
It's way more fun to eat this bar or that drink or whatever. But really, people need to reevaluate and go back to the basics. And strawberries are great. Blueberries are wonderful. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to make things really, really tasty and
what's the number one thing that you find is a curse to people when is it butter? Is it salt? Is it sugar? What's the number one problem that people have when they say, I eat my fruits and vegetables, but they, I know some people that cook their broccoli till it's all the way, and then they smother it in butter and salt.
Well, people have gotten the message about butter.
Okay.
I don't run into that. It's the dairy industry is going to get me. It's cheese.
Cheese.
How dare you?
Really? What about fresh mozzarella? Is that okay?
Here's the thing on cheese. It's pretty high in what they call saturated fat.
Okay.
And I don't say you have to eliminate it, but we need to cut back to maybe 1 or 2 ounces a day.
Okay.
And an ounce is about the size of your index finger.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of people look at cheese as healthy snack and eat the half a loaf of that cheddar cheese there, and start looking at cheese as a flavor enhancer. I love fresh mozzarella with tomatoes and basil, and I have that this time of year. But I don't go around eating baby loaves of cheese.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, you talked a little bit, too, about a percentage. People are going, well, gosh, I got to change my whole diet. It's not going to be fun anymore. What about the popcorn I like to have? What about that, birthday cake I want to have? And maybe that ice cream, at least an ice cream cone, during the summer here and there.
Absolutely.
So can you talk about the percentages when it comes to nutrition?
So a lot of people say have black and white thinking, all or none.
Right.
And what I try to get across, let's go with an 80-20% rule. 80% of the time you're towing the line or you're eating healthy, and 20% of the time you have that piece of birthday cake. You indulge maybe a little much with cheese on occasion, but it isn't a regular practice. I like folks to have desserts at least twice a week.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go back to the lines. We've got a caller on the line that wants to ask either a question to Dr. Rick Padgett, who is with us, the medical director at the Oregon Heart and Vascular Institute. We've got Sarah Grall, who's the manager of the Cardiac Rehabilitation and Wellness Program, and dietitian Nancy Graham. Good morning. Who's this?
Hello. I have a question for the doctor.
Sure.
My wife has recurring throbs in her ears at night, specifically. In fact, it's like her heart beating so hard that it wakes her up. And this started about 4 or 5 months ago. And she's went to a doctor about it and was told that it was a phenomenon. What's your answer?
Dr. Padgett, are you there? Did we lose Dr. Padgett?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so throbbing in the ear is kind of interesting in the sense that sometimes it is a heart problem, but more often than not, it's actually an ear problem, believe it or not. If you lose your if you reduce the amount of hearing that you're having in that ear, then you can actually sometimes hear things that you normally wouldn't hear that are sort of down-regulated on a normal basis. So I think it does require, some other looking into it. There's both blood pressure issues as well as sort of inter-ear problems that both have to be sort of evaluated.
Okay, does that answer your question, sir?
Well, would you suggest then that she see a heart specialist?
I would suggest that first, have another chat with your primary care physician. If it's a recurrent problem,
today.
Yeah, if it's a recurrent problem and is happening over a period of time, then that often sort of sparks a little more investigation than otherwise. After that, then probably it's going to be a combination of both a cardiologic workup as well as an ENT workup.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor.
All right. Thank you for the call, 541-686-0590. Dr. Padgett, you want to stick with us for another 10 minutes? Are you okay time-wise?
Sure.
Thank you very much. All right. So we're going to take a short break, and we will be back with Dr. Rick Padgett from Sacred Heart Medical Center, Sarah Grall, and Nancy Graham all in studio for Doc Talk on this Tuesday here on KUGN News Talk 590.
Not to sound doom and gloom here, but are you paying attention? Check in a few times a day to KUGN News Talk 590.
No doubt we still face serious challenges.
News at the top and bottom of the hour. KUGN News Talk 590.
All right, imagine opening up your front door and then coming face to face with your identity thief. You know, the criminal who didn't just use your credit cards. This crook knows where you live. Now, that's what Fox News reported about one woman. Now, fortunately, she had advanced warning from LifeLock, who alerted her that someone was buying cell phones with her identity. Now, the phones were being shipped to her home, where the thieves would lie in wait. Now, imagine a criminal staking out your house, watching your family. Now, she said without LifeLock, she wouldn't have known that they were coming, and that LifeLock services are legit, and they do what they say they'll do, and it's worth every penny. Now, LifeLock is on a mission to stop all identity theft from starting, and right here with our listeners, you can protect yourself. Now, the call takes less than 5 minutes, plus you will receive 10% off your LifeLock membership. Mention promo code Hannity when you call 1-800-440-4926, 1-800-440-4926, 800-440-4926, or go to the web, lifelock.com.
The good life is yours at Fairway Estates, a private gated community in Sutherland, Oregon, providing the ultimate in carefree living inside the beautiful Umpqua Golf Resort. Fairway Estates has frontage views from all directions. Townhomes start at $210,000, several plans to choose from. Single-family homes start at $315,000. Fairway Estates single-level plans include luxury touches like solid granite, hardwood, and tile floors, stainless steel appliances, and vaulted ceilings. With low exterior and landscape maintenance, you can relax at home, surrounded by scenic golf course views in a convenient location. Fairway Estates offers excellent values that you must see for yourself. Learn about all the amenities that await you. Activities like golf, fantastic views, and a comfortable lifestyle. The good life is yours at Fairway Estates. Take exit 136 off I-5 or visit online at thefairwayestates.com or call developer Ross Murray at 541-687-1196.
We're not on Facebook and we don't tweet, but we could blog all day about how to save you money on your printing and marketing needs. Minuteman Press, at the corner of 10th and Conger in Eugene, is your locally owned one-stop source for ink, on paper, and a whole lot more. Visit us anytime at EugeneMMP.com or stop by Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5:30 to discuss your printing needs and let our knowledgeable staff help you save. Minuteman Press. We look forward to seeing you.
What if your business banker took the time to really get to know your business? What if they asked the right questions in order to uncover the solutions you really need? At KeyBank, we do that. We believe the more we get to know you, the more successful you'll be at managing cash and safeguarding your business. We even address the financial needs of you and your employees. It's an integrated approach to help your business thrive. Call 877-KEY2-BIZ. Start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. KeyBank is member FDIC. Credit products are subject to credit approval.
It's Doc Talk on KUGN News Talk 590.
That would be us. We are in the middle of a Doc Talk Tuesday. We've got a very special program this morning with Dr. Rick Padgett on the line with us, the medical director of Oregon Heart Vascular Institute. We've got Sarah Grall, the manager of the Cardiac Rehabilitation and Wellness Program, Nancy Graham, registered dietitian. I could do this show for another 3 hours, and I think our listeners are probably with me on that one. There's so much information to be had, but we only have a short amount of time left. Bud is on the line and has a comment for Dr. Padgett and staff here, all three of you actually. Good morning, Bud.
Good morning.
So go ahead.
Dr. Padgett, this is Bud Conklin. You and your staff 4 years ago when I had a crazy disease called Whipple's disease, rebuilt my heart with it, put a new aorta heart valve in it. And I just want to thank you. It's been 4 years and I'm still kicking. and I haven't been down to the hospital to see you folks. But I heard you on the radio, and I wanted to thank you and Dr. Seidman and Dr. Wynn, Dr. Peltz, and Dr. Roberts. And I appreciate the opportunity to do this, to thank you all for saving my life.
Oh,
well,
nice.
it's wonderful to hear from you, Bud. Believe it or not, just this weekend I was on call with Dr. Peltz, and we were talking about you.
Right?
It was, well, you had a very unusual disease, probably something that's only in the literature, 12 or 15 cases in the world literature, and the fact that you're just doing so well, I tell you, it sort of brings a smile to everybody that worked with you.
Awesome. Bud, thank you so much for the call, and I really encourage you. Sarah and Nancy have both said come down and take a tour of the facility. It's amazing.
You bet. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
All right, Bud, thank you very much. Well, that's kind of neat. We don't have a whole lot of time left. Dr. Padgett, do you have anything else you want to say to wrap this up?
Well, I think the one thing I did want to mention is, and I mentioned it before, is the importance of 911 rather than driving yourself into the hospital. If you are having a heart attack, our trained EMS can actually get an EKG in your house, in the field, wherever you are. And if you're having the heart attack, then we can start the whole system can be activated at that point.
All right, Dr. Rick Padgett with the Oregon Heart Vascular Institute. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us. Sarah, Nancy, it's been a pleasure. I hope you, both of you will come back and talk with us again.
Absolutely.
Hey,
we'll skip work anytime.
Excellent. All right. And are tours available to check out this facility?
Anyone is welcome to drop by. One of the staff will be happy to take you on a nickel tour.
Okay. What about a website to go for more information?
Our website is www.ohvi.org. Lots of information on that. Please visit.
All right. Well, we really appreciate. We'll eat our fruits and vegetables and maybe come to a cooking class and maybe a little workout with you.
There you
Sarah?
go.
All right.
Happy
well, thank you so much. Grant, that does it for us.
Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow, sir. You have yourself a